Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology? Tech It Out can help make some sense of it all. Breaking down geek speak into street speak, technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman covers consumer technology each week for every listener. Mark tackles the latest news, reviews, and how-tos to help you understand what's hot, what's not, and why.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 199 of Tech It Out. That's right, next week is the big 200th episode. Wow, time flies. I started this weekly show in July of 2017. And to celebrate the milestone, we have a massive giveaway planned for next week, which I'll tell you more about shortly. Now, even though this is episode 199 today, we have a stellar show planned for you because it's devoted to the annual E3. That's right, the huge video game expo taking place online from June 12th to the 15th next weekend. So guests today are tied to the excitement around E3. So we're going to get our game on in a moment with the President and CEO of the Entertainment Software Association, Stanley Pierre-Louis. The ESA hosts E3 every year. We'll also chat with a pair of E3 hosts, Jacki Jing and Goldenboy Mendez, and a lot more. So let's officially kick things off with Tech It Out, powered by ASUS, for those in search of incredible. You're listening to Tech It Out. It's game on for the biggest video game event of the year. The annual E3 is set to take place June 12th through the 15th as a virtual event for obvious reasons, and that means so many more video game enthusiasts can enjoy it from the comfort of their own homes, at least. Joining us to chat about E3 and the video game industry, as well as how games have kept us connected and arguably sane throughout the pandemic, we're joined by President and CEO of the Entertainment Software Association. We've got Stanley Pierre-Louis with us. Welcome to the show, Stan.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to talk about this great event.
Awesome. I know you've been super busy leading up to E3 around the corner, so thank you so much for carving out some time to chat. First, if you can, tell us a bit about your organization, the ESA. What's it all about and your role in this multi-billion-dollar interactive entertainment industry?
Let me start by saying what a thrill it is to be sitting with you today and having a chance to talk about this industry, which continues to entertain people and reimagine what entertainment is. At the Entertainment Software Association, we have the pleasure of serving as the voice and advocate for the video game industry here in the United States. Whether it's meeting with government officials, sharing stories with the public and the press about games, connecting with the public, or hosting E3, our mission is really to promote and champion the positive impact of games on people, culture, and the economy. And we love to shine a spotlight on the innovators, the creators, the publishers, and business leaders that really are reimagining this entertainment form.
And this has been arguably a very important entertainment form over the past, say, 15 months. We have seen the industry grow, perhaps not surprisingly. Would you say that the video game space has been the biggest it's ever been?
You know, we have seen tremendous growth in video games year over year. And last year presented a surge more than most years because people found solace in games. Mm-hmm. They found a way to connect, to feel less isolated, and to really find joy in what they were doing. So we've seen a tremendous growth even beyond past years. And I think that growth will continue. Maybe not at the same level, but certainly we'll see engagement at very high levels moving forward.
Mm-hmm. We'll get to who's playing games and how they're playing games, but I just wanted to tell you anecdotally, my mom, who's 82, is playing Words with Friends on her smartphone with her girlfriends and myself as well. And so she's gaming and chatting. There's an in-game chat element. As you touched on, Stan, it's not just about remaining entertained, especially during these difficult times, but it's also about the connection, about the people experience at the end of the day, whether it's, you know, a Fortnite or an Apex Legends or something like Scrabble, you know, turn-based game like that. So obviously gaming was critical for people of all ages during pandemic life.
I think that's right. There was a recent BBC segment that noted that gamers have known for a long time what people are generally seeing now, which is that there's a community on the other side of the screen. I think that games provided a social lifeline to people during a time of isolation, but also an ability to connect with friends and family. Games also have this positive impact on people that I think they saw. There was a recent study out of Oxford, for example, that showed that playing games can have a positive effect on your mental well-being. And more, I think people realized that playing these games did create these opportunities to have joy in the middle of times that could be really tough.
Mm-hmm. Stan, I think our listeners may be surprised who is exactly playing games here. I mentioned my mom earlier. Talk to us about your essential facts research.
What we found is that more people are playing than ever. Right now, more than 214 million people in the United States play video games.
Wow.
Almost half are women. Many are over 65. And in fact, you have just as many people over 50 playing as you do under 18. And many of the people over 65 have been playing for less than 10 years, which means they started playing in their 50s. So games have been driving a lot of excitement for people because of connection, but also because of a way to digitize games that people might normally play in the physical world, right, like Scrabble or Bridge, and being able to play with people through these chat functions.
Awesome. And on more devices too, whether it's a console like a PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo, whether it's a PC, whether it's a mobile device like phones and tablets. We've seen virtual reality. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's amazing. We are chatting with Stanley Pierre-Louis. He is the CEO of the Entertainment Software Association, the ESA, based in DC, and they have some pretty swank offices, I should add. I've always enjoyed visiting. Let's now explore the social and cultural impact of video games, Stan, including diversity and inclusion.
Sure. With respect to social impact and cultural impact of video games, most players today talk about the fact that games provide them with mental stimulation or relaxation. And that's really important because games need to be an escape from the everyday from time to time. We've also seen the cultural importance of games. You're now seeing movies with video game themes. You're seeing television shows and music based on video game themes. And you're even seeing fashion brands getting involved in video games and games like Animal Crossing. Video games are also important in terms of thinking about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that's one of the things that our industry's really been leaning in on. Mm-hmm. These topics have become important in terms of policy work. They've become important for corporations, which are now speaking out for the first time on many of these issues. Employees expect it, and online communities are demanding it. And so more and more, you're finding that the video game industry is participating in these efforts and opportunities to make sure that underrepresented groups have opportunities to excel in this high art form. We're seeing it in our industry, and I think the key is trying to create sustainability in creating these opportunities. There was a recent announcement, for example, that Take-Two Interactive provided endowment money for a new scholarship and an endowment fund at the University of Southern California to help Black and Indigenous populations come and study games, and there'll be a chair related to that. We at ASA are also playing a critical role. We recently launched an initiative with Black Girls Code to create STEAM and STEM opportunities, that's science, technology, engineering, and math skills, so along with the arts, so that young girls and women of color have opportunities to enter our industry. And we're also partnering on the policy front to make sure that there are opportunities for underrepresented groups in the tech and intellectual property space.
Awesome. And I'll just add, some companies like what Xbox is doing with its adaptive controller is making games accessible to those that may have physical or dexterity challenges as well, which I think is fantastic. And I didn't mention earlier that there's also games you can play on your smart speaker. So even if you're blind, you can play text adventures through your Alexa or Google device. All right, Stan, I did tease E3 off the top. We haven't even gotten to that yet. So let's talk a bit about this massive event that happens every June, usually in Los Angeles, but now taking place online. And I hinted at the benefits of it being virtual this year. So talk to us what E3 is all about and why it's so important for the industry.
For more than 2 decades, E3 has been the premier event and showcase for the video game industry. Traditionally, we've brought people together for in-person experiences. But over the years, we've realized the importance of really reaching out to that digital audience. And with this year's event being all digital, it creates new opportunities to really bring fans, the media, and industry together all under one tent for this free 4-day event. So we're going to continue the power of what E3 does but do it in a showcase that's online to bring more people in.
Yeah. And I love that you don't need any credentials like we used to have to do in person. Yeah. To be a journalist like myself or an analyst or a developer or publisher or exhibitor in order to get in, now it's open to everyone. I know we're going to have another show tied to E3 specifically in mid-June when it takes place, but what's the website again?
To learn more about this year's E3, visit e3expo.com. The great thing about this year's E3 is that anyone can watch it for free. If you register at e3expo.com, you'll get more information about what's happening. You'll be able to see some virtual experiences, and you'll be able to connect with people through avatars and all these various ways of connecting with other people excited about what's going on the main screen.
Okay, awesome. Aside from it being a digital first show, Stan, is there anything else you would say is unique about this year's E3?
We're excited about this year's all virtual E3, which is June 12th through 15th, because it's really going to be a truly global experience. There will be publisher showcases, live press conferences, unexpected reveals and live streams, special events, and a lot of other special appearances. We're thrilled that companies like Nintendo, Xbox, Warner Brothers, Ubisoft, Square Enix, and others are participating this year to give everyone a first look at what's to come in the year of video games. It's going to be broadcast wider than ever because we've partnered with so many major media publications and distribution services to make sure that anyone can watch it anywhere they want. Obviously, you can come through e3expo.com to get official announcements and information. But by visiting these other platforms, you'll be able to see all of the amazing announcements and reveals that companies have to make.
All right, awesome. I can't wait to see you during E3 as well, Stan, and it's always fantastic chatting with you.
Thank you.
Stick with us. We've got a lot more Tech It Out coming right up.
Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want. Find the Tech It Out podcast at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to a special pre-E3 edition of Tech It Out, the annual video game expo taking place next weekend, June 12th through the 15th, an all-digital show this year. We're celebrating the interactive entertainment industry this show and the next show. And next weekend happens to be the 200th episode of Tech It Out. We have a huge giveaway planned from our title sponsor, ASUS. It's an ASUS VivoBook Flip 14 laptop valued at $599. I'll tell you about that and how to be eligible to win this grand prize next week. And I'll get to all that in a couple of moments. Once again, thank you to ASUS for those in search of incredible. All right, let's continue on with this special pre-E3 edition of Tech It Out. If you're just tuning into the show, the 26th annual E3 Video Game Expo is set to take place June 12th through the 15th, an all-digital event this year in which hardware manufacturers and software developers, publishers, all from the video game industry will present the latest and greatest. Very exciting time of the year. And we've got with us on the line one of the official E3 hosts of the event, Alex Goldenboy Mendez, one of the top professional esports commentators. Welcome to the show, Alex. Good to chat with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Well, before we get into E3, I do want to ask you about your work. Tell us about the esports work that you do as well. Of course, we're talking about competitive sports, people playing video games, often for a big cash prize, which is really exciting. But talk to us about your work, and then we'll dive into E3.
Yeah, for sure. So, I've been working as a esports commentator, so something along the lines of what you'd hear in traditional sports with sports commentary. It'd be, more in line with that. And I've been doing that for around like a decade or so. The years have kind of flown by at this point. But yeah, and it's an amazing thing, to be able to bring like the passion that we all have for gaming, but also leverage the idea of just competing against one another. And then it's grown exponentially over the last few years because esports, it just relates to so many people, right? Young and old, people who just enjoyed games passively, when they were younger. Maybe they're sharing that with their kids to this day, and they're getting into it as a result of it. It really is fantastic. And basically, as a esports commentator, my goal, it's called a caster, is like the role that they typically give it. But it's you're just calling the action. You're sharing the hype moments, the excitement, the thrill of competition, just like you would hear in traditional sports. We just happen to do it better because it's video games, baby, and who doesn't love video games?
Amen.
So yeah, that's basically it.
Awesome. What's the first game you've ever played, and what are you into today?
First game I ever played? That's a loaded question. Batman on the Nintendo, the original Nintendo Entertainment System.
Wow.
It was like the old 1980, I forget what year it was.
Well, you look too young to be playing the NES or SNES.
Oh, I was a child. I was a child.
Do you like Battle Royale sort of flavor, like Fortnite, Apex?
Yeah. I had the privilege of commentating the Fortnite World Cup. You know, when Booga, the eventual winner, became a millionaire in a matter of seconds. Yeah, and I love the VR genre. Fun to play and, just good entertainment,
Awesome.
Survival games have that hook to them, right? And I think it's just a natural edge for people who want to watch competition to see who's the last person standing.
Mm-hmm. I also love that games like Fortnite are free, and then it's optional if you want to buy into the season passes or the in-game content that's optional. But I love that the barriers of entry are really low, and it's available on multiple platforms and so on. So that's a trend that I applaud. Again, we are going to chat about E3 in a moment. One more question for you about video games. What would you say in all the years that you've been in this industry, what's the biggest misperception or misconception when it comes to gaming? Among those who are obviously not into it, what do you hear that just you roll your eyes at? It's usually
that gamers lack social skills. That's always the one that makes me laugh, because the entirety of our industry is built upon socializing and communicating with one another. We just happen to do it in a different way, right? It's so leveraged online and through Twitch streaming. You have so many personalities, and then there's always it's just people in basements playing games, and it couldn't be further from the truth. You have a lot of people out there that make fitness as a part of their brand, that inspire through that, right? People who want to game but also feel healthy at the same time. There's a lot of positivity out there in this space, and I think it's always the misconception that it's like the Call of Duty lobbies of old where people were saying horrible things to each other, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Gaming has raised millions for charity. It's created amazing social experiences for people all around the world. It's unified people all around the world of diverse backgrounds, and I think that it's something that will just continue to get better as the years go by.
Awesome. We are chatting with Alex Mendez. He's one of the top pro esports commentators. Goes by the moniker Goldenboy. Where do you get that name, by the way? What's the origin behind that?
Some people think it's because I'm a fan of Oscar de la Hoya, but that's not the case. I was actually a Tito Trinidad fan, Puerto Rican, but it was actually from an anime years ago called Goldenboy. Do not look it up.
Okay. It's NSFW, I guess. All right, fair enough.
Yeah. Okay. It's bad.
All right. Now let's pivot and talk E3. It's around the corner. Super exciting time. Let's just start with a reminder of what it's all about and the significance of this show.
Yeah, of course. I mean, E3 is the event for gaming. It's like the Super Bowl of gaming, right? All the amazing reveals of new games, new video game consoles. I mean, it's the Mecca, right? It's something that has really been a staple of the gaming community for years and years. Like, for me personally, this is a dream, because being a part of E3 was the original aspiration of young Alex in the Bronx receiving his copies of Game Informer and EGM and old magazines that used to circulate back then.
I love it, and I can relate. All right, Alex, hold on. We're going to continue chatting about E3 right after this short break. Stick with us.
Want to follow Mark? Google him. Mark with a C and Saltzman with a Z. Breaking down geek speak into street speak. This is Tech It Out. Tech It Out with technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out, everyone. We're going to continue chatting with Goldenboy, Alex Mendez, in a moment. But first, I've got some big news to share with you. The 200th episode of Tech It Out is coming up in a week, and we've got a huge giveaway to commemorate the occasion, which I'll tell you more about in a moment. So get ready to jot down the info. First, a huge thank you to Radio America, as well as the 100+ radio stations that air the weekly Tech It Out show across the country, and to ASUS, the title sponsor of Tech It Out. Most importantly, thank you, the listeners, for tuning in every week on your local radio station or perhaps in podcast form. Since July of 2017, my goal on Tech It Out is to celebrate technology, but also to demystify it. That's why my catchphrase is that I break down geek speak into street speak. On each week's 1 hour show, we have great guests. I discuss the latest in tech trends and tips to mastering your devices, but all in a language you can understand. So to celebrate the 200th episode of Tech It Out, we're giving away an ASUS VivoBook laptop. Style meets substance with these colorful, powerful, and versatile laptops designed for work and play. To be eligible to win, send me an email or message on social media with the phrase Tech It Out, and make sure you're 18 or older and live in the continental USA. We'll randomly draw the name and mention it on the show during the third weekend of June. My email address is tech@marksaltzman.com. That's TECH@MARCSALTZMAN.com. Or visit me on social media with the phrase Tech It Out. Good luck, everyone, and here's to the next 200 episodes of Tech It Out. And by the way, the specific laptop you could win is the VivoBook Flip 14, valued at $599. It's a portable and convertible 2-in-1 laptop with 4 viewing modes: tablet, tent, stand, and laptop. It's got a 14-inch Full HD touch display, a stylus and holder is included, and a lot of power under the hood. All right, speaking of power players, let's continue chatting with Alex Mendez, Goldenboy, about this year's E3 Expo, taking place June 12th through 15th. Now, Alex, before the break, you were talking to us about when you got started. You were playing games as a kid. It was a dream to be at E3 in LA. Now it's all digital, available to everyone. You are taking us back to young Alex and dreaming of being at E3. Please continue where you left off.
That's right. And I would look at the E3 coverage and I'd think to myself, man, I'd want to be there one day. I want to see the new games and go to the press conferences and stuff. So to be able to say I'm hosting E3, it truly is a dream come true. It's incredible.
Awesome. Congratulations. Yeah, that's really exciting. You're alongside Greg Miller and Jacki Jing, so it's going to be an awesome show starting again the 12th of June all the way to the 15th. And unlike when you were young and you were dreaming of attending this event that you had to be in the industry, you had to be in LA, it's an all digital show this year, so anyone can tune in, right?
That's right. It's free, so people can tune in, watch, and enjoy. There is... That's always been the struggle, right? It's like you want to go, but you got to spend money on the hotel and, the flight and all the other stuff that comes with visiting a convention. But it's great that, we're bringing E3 right to the living room, right to people's homes, on their phones, on their computer, wherever they choose to watch and enjoy their content. And it's an incredibly exciting time because I can only imagine, I have no idea what's going to be revealed. All I know is that it's going to be great. It's the summer and games are the focal point, and it's always going to be a win.
So I was going to ask you what you think are going to be the highlights. I guess you don't know yet. Is there anything you're expecting to see, that you're hoping to see when it comes to a new video game franchise that you're super stoked about? And also any events that we should let our listeners know, like events that they should tune into specifically?
Well, I think for events that viewers should be tuning into specifically, and I'm going to be honest, they should just enjoy the whole thing. But that said, if you are like an Xbox fan or something, those showcases are always going to be great. Mm-hmm. I'm particularly excited for the Xbox Bethesda showcase because as a big fan of Halo's been a big part of my life since I was a kid. I'm really excited for what is to come out of Halo Infinite. I'm expecting something to be there, and really whatever Nintendo shares, because Nintendo's amazing, and whenever they share new games or new consoles or new experiences for people of all ages, it's always a win.
You think we're going to see a Switch Pro debut in a couple weeks?
I would love to see it. I think the market is ripe for it. I think the technology is there, with the new NVIDIA DLSS technology. If the rumors are true, there could be something really special with a Switch Pro. Although I would like a Super Nintendo Switch. I think that is a way more cooler name that harkens back to awesome days of gaming's past,
Awesome. Well, you'll have to tell Doug Bowser that, who runs Nintendo of America, and I love that his surname name is Bowser, which is, of course, a Nintendo character. Like, talk about fate. All right. So, Alex, great to chat with you. Let's leave off on a website where people can register for E3 and then check out all the events starting on the 12th.
Yeah, you could tune into e3expo.com. That's where you'd find all the information, the portal, how to log in. Also, if you're just a savvy Twitch viewer or YouTube viewer, it's going to be on the usual suspects as well. So be sure to tune in there. Join in on the chats as well, because that's always a good time. And yeah, just enjoy it, because I think we're really going to have something special this year. And it's about time, and it feels good to say E3 is back better than ever. And we're going to be showing some pretty cool stuff, I hope.
Awesome. Well, hey, congratulations on your success to date, by the way, Alex. Alex Mendez has been our guest. Looking forward to seeing you over E3. Thanks for carving out some time to chat with us.
Oh, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
Cheers. Now, to quote the infomercial guru, Ron Popeil, but wait, there's more. After this short break, we're going to catch up with Jacki Jing. She's also one of the official E3 hosts this year. Jacki is an Emmy-nominated TV journalist and current on-camera host and producer on IGN, Nerdist, Funimation, and the Anime News Network, among other platforms. You definitely will recognize her if you're into video games. So when we return, we're going to continue our pre-E3 coverage of the preeminent show held every June, usually in Los Angeles, but this year, with what's going on in the world, of course, it's an all-digital, a virtual event, but has its benefits because anyone can attend for free from the comfort of their home. When you go to e3expo.com, by the way, you've got 3 choices to register. 1, as a fan. Secondly, if you're with the media, such as a journalist like yours truly, and you plan on covering E3 for a particular publication. And then third, if you're in the industry as a creator or maybe an influencer as well. That's another way to register for the 26th annual E3 Video Game Expo, regardless of where you are on the planet. You can expect new content from Nintendo, Xbox, Ubisoft, Square Enix, WB, T2, Razer, Capcom, Bandai Namco, Gearbox, Sega, and the list goes on. It's going to be amazing. Stick with us. We're going to chat more about this and what she's excited to see as well with Jacki Jing, one of the hosts of E3. We'll be right back.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak. Check it out. Hosted by Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. As you've heard throughout the show, the annual E3 video game event is around the corner, taking place virtually this year from June 12th through the 15th. And we're privileged to have on the line with us Jacki Jing, one of the official E3 hosts. Jacki is an Emmy-nominated TV journalist and current on-camera host and producer, seen on places like IGN, The Nerdist, Funimation, and Anime News Network. Welcome to the show, Jacki. Thanks for your time.
What an intro. Thank you. Really excited to be here and chat with you.
Awesome. And congrats on being an E3 host, an official E3 host. Very exciting. We'll get to all of that in a moment and we'll chat about E3. But before then, please tell us a bit more about yourself.
You know, I'm an on-camera host for esports, anime, entertainment events. Like you said, I've worked with some really cool outlets, IGN, Nerdist, Funimation, Crunchyroll, Anime News Network, to do a little bit of nonprofit work and work with the Asian American Drug Abuse Program. And I'm really blessed. I get to talk about nerdy stuff a lot for a living, and that's super cool.
Awesome. Where are you based?
Los Angeles. I just got a condo near, not a little bit from the beach, like a couple minutes from the beach. But when I'm not playing video games and watching anime, I'm kind of a mermaid. I play like same volleyball almost every day. So.
Have you always been a gamer, Jacki? And what kind of games do you prefer today?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, honestly, video games has been a part of my life, like since my earliest memories. I remember clearly when my dad brought home the Super Nintendo, and my brother and I were like, I think 5 and 6 years old, and we're like, ooh, what is this weird contraption, you know? And then I just remember he booted it up and our eyes just lit up. It was Super Mario World. And to this day, I just remember my brother's face. Like I looked at him and we were both just like, what is this? I think a full-blown obsession with video games kind of stemmed from that moment right there. And they've been a huge part of my life and have gotten me through some of the toughest times in my life, and have also been some of, you know, my greatest moments have been when I've been gaming, like some of my happiest moments. So Yeah, I would say that gaming is a huge part of my life for sure. And I've been doing it for a long time.
And what made you want to do it professionally? I mean, it's one thing to have a cool hobby like gaming, but then to actually make money from it. What was that epiphany?
I didn't know you could do that. Like, I was a TV news anchor for almost 10 years, and my brother, he was a immense gamer, like loved gaming more than I've ever seen anyone love gaming. And he was always like, hey, like you have the skills to be like an on-camera talent in the gaming industry. He's like, there's all these people who like live out in LA and they host these gaming events. And I was like, you're crazy. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm a TV news anchor. I got like a short bob cut and I wear stuffy suits all the time. I was like, there's just like no way I could do that, And my brother, he struggled with heroin addiction for a long time. And he passed away 4 years ago. I'm
sorry to hear that.
Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that. Thank you. After he passed away, I was like, you know what? I should go try. And I might fall flat on my face and none of it works out. But like, at least I can be like, I went out and I tried. And I was a TV news anchor in New Orleans for their ABC. I was a morning anchor. And I applied for a job at IGN as an on-camera host. And I just thought it was, like, not going to happen. I was just like, there's no way. But let me just, I can at least be like, I tried, Ian. I tried, and try my hardest for all the gamers out there who, like, want information on all of the stuff that we've been waiting so long for. So I'm really humbled and feel, like, so grateful.
So that's a good segue to chat about E3 being an all-digital event this year. Despite COVID, the show must go on. But, hey, there's advantages, I'd argue, for being a virtual event. For one, as we've touched on at other points during the show today, that people from all across the globe can partake from the comfort of their lazy boy, or wherever they may be, hanging outside and watching on their phone. So you don't have to be in the industry and anybody can attend. So I think that's fantastic. So why don't you bring us up to speed what E3 is all about? It's a celebration of video games, correct?
Yeah, totally. I remember in the past that I was covering E3, people were like, oh my gosh, you've gone to E3. That's so cool. I wish I could go. But now anybody can go. It's online and it's free and open to the public. Like, so everyone can watch and get in on this fun. And it's never been like that before. So
you're going to be like an MC and you're going to introduce some of the big reveals and then give some color commentary kind of thing, along with Alex Mendez, Goldenboy, as well as Greg Miller. So really exciting lineup of hosts.
Yeah, there's just going to be all of this content, activities, discussion, the biggest gaming titles, and definitely awesome. Super excited for it.
Walking us through all this amazing content, it's like a window to the future of video game software and hardware and accessories and the community and the culture and the esports space for those who are into competitive gaming. So you can access E3 on a browser, but there's also an app. There's also platforms that I know you're very familiar with, like Twitch and YouTube. As far as the show is concerned, Jacki, do you think going forward it's going to be maybe a bit of a hybrid approach? If you can peek into your crystal ball, do you have a sense of where you think E3 can go going forward?
Maybe it will be the best of both worlds. Maybe part of it will be virtual, giving people more accessibility. And then maybe there will be some very private and special moments that people only at the convention will be able to see. But this is definitely going to be a landmark event. It's very unique. We've never seen an E3 like this. And I'm so excited for it and excited to see how it will impact E3s in the future too.
We're going to continue chatting with Jacki Jing after this short break. And just a heads up that there's more E3 content to come both next weekend and the following weekend. In fact, we're going to catch up with Doug Bowser, president of Nintendo of America, to hear what they debuted at the show as well. So lots of great stuff coming up on future Tech It Out episodes. But more with Jacki when we return. Stick with us.
Follow Mark Saltzman on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want.
We are chatting with Jacki Jing, by the way, one of the official E3 hosts this year. We got a couple of minutes left with her. Okay, Jacki, I got to ask you, even though none of these titles are confirmed, what are you excited about for E3? What are you hoping to get a first peek at? Is there anything in particular?
Honestly, everything, right? Like, I know that's like the easy answer, but there's so many announcements that are going to be dropping that I think people have been waiting to hear for so long. But like off the top of my head, like Halo Infinite, Starfield, Breath of the Wild 2, Rainbow Six Quarantine, Final Fantasy for 16 and the remake of 7. I've been loving Far Cry 6. Like anything I see dropping with Far Cry 6, I'm like, this looks so dope. And I also think the indie games are always really fun. Like I think people sleep on those sometimes. Like they're all about like the AAA, big developers, big companies. But like for me, it's like I kind of love to see what the indie games come up with.
100%. Look at one of the biggest games over the last year is Among Us, right? A little indie game that came out of nowhere.
Oh my God.
So obviously there is going to be, I would argue this year more than others, a bigger focus on those kinds of sleeper hits, right? Not just, like you said, the AAA games, but also the little guys, because sometimes they come up with something just extraordinary. So let's wrap up with where to tune in. I think it's e3expo.com. Is that right?
You got it.
I'm so stoked for the 12th and onwards. Looking forward to seeing you on various screens. Have fun. Enjoy every moment. Know that your brother is smiling, watching you accomplish this.
Aww.
And crush it for E3. Enjoy every moment. Thank you so much for chatting with us, Jacki.
No, I appreciate you all speaking to us. This is a dream. We've all been playing video games since we were kids. E3 is a giant event. We're working really hard and we want to make this the best event possible for our fellow gamers. So thank you for talking to us. We're really excited about it.
Awesome. Be well. Thank you so much, Jacki.
Thank you.
Well, I, for one, cannot wait for E3, and I'm going to bring you more of that excitement to your ears next weekend on another episode of Tech It Out, because we're going to continue that theme. In fact, a couple interviews the week after that as well. So interactive entertainment, it's for everyone. So we're going to have some amazing guests to continue the topic. If you're on social media, let me know what you think of the show or tell me what you're excited about for E3. I'm at Mark Saltzman. That's Mark with a C, SALTZMAN. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. I link to my video game articles, including an upcoming E3 special for USA Today and a video as well, so I hope you dig that. As well as some recent articles that I wrote about seniors who play games. Wrote about that for AARP as well as Costco Connection magazine. I wrote a roundup of the best free mobile games, what's new with Apple Arcade, which is a subscription service for gamers, only $5 a month, but over 180 amazing games, none of which have in-game ads or in-game purchases, so none of those microtransactions. And of course, the latest in PC and console gaming as well. For me, it's all about PC gaming. I love Steam, the platform to find games and download them to your laptop or desktop. I love that service and what PC gaming has to offer. It's more of a lean-in experience, of course, rather than a lean-back one for consoles. But I'm a big computer gamer, always have been. In fact, that's what got me in this industry in the mid-90s. Adventure games at the time. Speaking of PCs, I want to finish off the show with a reminder about our huge giveaway next weekend. We are closing in on 200 episodes of Tech It Out. That's right. It started in July of 2017. And next weekend marks the 200th episode. So a weekly show powered by ASUS. And ASUS is providing a very generous giveaway. It's a VivoBook Flip 14 valued at $599. It's a convertible PC. So not only does it have a touchscreen, so you can use your fingers on it, but it bends back on a 360-degree hinge. So you can use it in tablet mode if you like on that 14-inch full HD display. So here's how to be eligible. You need to be 18 or older and live in the continental US. Send me an email or hit me up on social media. I just plugged my handles there. And my email address is tech@marksaltzman.com. So that's TECH@MARCSALTZMAN.com. And just use the phrase Tech It Out to be eligible for the random draw a week from now for that ASUS VivoBook laptop. So include that phrase Tech It Out and you may be the lucky winner. ASUS will ship you the laptop to your door. How awesome is that? So you can play all the great computer games that make its debut at E3. So I'll announce the winner on the Tech It Out show that drops on the 19th and 20th on your local radio station and will be uploaded as a podcast on the 19th as well. Cool. Well, good luck. And once again, thank you for your support all these years. So 4 years in almost. Thank you to Radio America, the company that distributes this show, to all the stations that air it, not just the 1 hour weekend show, but the 1 minute daily interstitial or tech update. A huge thank you to ASUS, the title sponsor on the program, and of course for the generous giveaway to commemorate the 200th episode of Tech It Out. Well, wishing you a great rest of your weekend, everyone. Stay healthy. My wife just got her second shot. I'll be getting mine soon. My kids are right behind me, so things are looking up, upwards and onwards, as they say. You can feel the positivity. Am I right? Have a good one, everybody. Chat with you next weekend for another episode of Tech It Out.